in trading too, it's like you just have to have it do a certain specific task, and then you got to do the rest
Yes.
yourself, kind of.
Welcome to the Think Profit Podcast. All information in this podcast is for educational purposes only and is not financial or health advice.
Hey Walter, have you played around with creating, just any kind of code trading strategies or custom indicators or anything like that with ChatGPT or any AI?
That's so funny you said that. I just did it yesterday.
Okay,
Actually,
me
I
too.
did it. Yeah, really? I did it
Yeah,
a few months ago, to be fair.
yeah.
But yeah, because I had one of my coaching clients that I work with, like a one-on-one thing. Um, they were they're looking for another strategy, and I was offering some mean reversion strategies, and I said, you know what? I'll just see what Chat GPT can do, and
Hmm.
um, and so yeah, it came up with a mean reversion strategy. It'll backtest it for you and everything. I'm sure it'll curve fit it really nicely. I have worked with it in the past,
Hmm.
but it's really interesting because the studies that I've done and other people have done on which markets are good for mean reversion, and then I was just curious, so I sort of tested it. I said, okay, thanks for the mean reversion strategy. Which markets do you think will be best for this mean reversion strategy? And it came up with completely different markets. So
Hmm.
I think, which is not to say it wouldn't work on the markets that Chat GPT suggested, but what I am suggesting is that uh, the method by which Chat GPT comes to these answers, you have to kind of figure out what it's doing so you can determine what is the validity of their conclusion. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, so yeah. Anyway, so yes, the answer is yes, I have, and I think as most people who've played around with it know, it can make a lot of really poor decisions, and you have to kind of like almost like coax it in a certain way to to allow it to like figure out that it's made this assumption or it's done this, or how did it come to this conclusion, things like that. I think that's it's still, you still need to kind of herd it in a way. So it's not as useful, I guess, as people think, although it is very useful for me. Like if I were a programmer, I would be using it all the time, some sort of AI anyway, for because that's it really cuts down your time in terms of that. You can get a working like first draft quite easily, you know. Yeah.
And that's where I think that's the biggest like benefit for most people. I think is you come up with the trading strategy, you come up with a trading idea, and then you tell the system to code it, and then you stick that into like MetaTrader or something and back test it. I think that
Yeah.
seems like right now the best thing to do. And I played with it yesterday, like we're talking about, and I got a got a simple custom indicator up. It got it on the first shot, and
Right.
it's just a simple like moving average crossover, but it it shows that it's come a long way and it can actually create something. And I think one benefit is that you get it to create something simple, even though you want something more complicated. Maybe you make the first step, and then you make it do the second step and see if it can do that, and the third step, and then you kind of learn and look at the code yourself along the way, and maybe kind of just have it as like a teacher. But yeah, as far as like analyzing or actually doing the back testing or analyzing like stats, I'm still a little suspicious on if it's actually giving you the right information or not.
Yeah, and I think yeah, exactly right. So what you want to do is figure out why is it saying that. So like I've asked it things in the past, like, what's the longest lasting fiat currency? Name a fiat currency that's lasted, more than 100 years. And it comes up and says, well, the pound sterling. I'm like, wait a minute. Pound sterling, wasn't that backed by something? Oh yes, you're right, so it wasn't a fiat currency. You know what I mean? So you
Yeah,
do
yeah.
things like that. It's the same thing when I say, okay, thanks for the mean reversion strategy. Now, which markets are good mean reverting markets? And it will just tell, and what it'll give you a long list of markets, but then you're like, okay, well, why is it? And it'll say, oh, because it's a very liquid market. I wasn't interested in liquidity. I was
Yeah,
interested in markets that go up and then are likely to go back down. Which is,
yeah.
you can run empirical studies, and we've run those empirical studies, and all of the markets that you listed aren't in the top five. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so anyway, so it's just funny. You know what I mean? You have to know why it's saying the things it says. And
Hmm.
so it kind of gets fuzzy. Like, oh, well, these would be good markets because they're so liquid and so easy to trade. Well, no, I want a market that's going to go up and then likely to go down, or go down and then likely to go up. Not, I don't care about liquidity. I mean, it is important to a degree, I suppose, but not. It's not the question I asked. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's tricky.
Yeah. I asked it
Yeah.
once, like, give me the top 5 experts in this field, right? And it gave me 5 experts, and 4 of the names were made up. So like, what are you doing? But but yeah, I mean, yeah. So I think for it's up to you to have it like create something that's helpful. Like for me, when I write content, I have it create paragraph by paragraph, because otherwise, if you have it write the
Yeah.
whole thing, it's just like trash. So I think in the
Yeah.
in trading too, it's like you just have to have it do a certain specific task, and then you got to do the rest
Yes.
yourself, kind of.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. So it's like a dog. You don't tell a dog to go and build a nest, right? What you do is you say, "Dog, go get a stick." Okay, now
Hmm.
go get another stick. Okay, now go get a blanket, right? And so you can slowly, the dog will make a nest for you if you tell the dog to fetch all the parts of the nest and drop it in a pile. But you can't just say, "Hey dog, go make me a nest." And it's exactly the same. I think that's exactly the critical thing, is that you understand, if you can break it down into components and tell it, "Okay, go do this." And along that way you can build it out. And also I think it's important, like, to keep certain tasks in a silo so they know, okay, we're doing this now, because I think it kind of learns. You know what I mean? When you start teaching it, well, okay, when we talk about fiat currencies, we're talking about currencies that aren't backed by anything, like like pound sterling, right? Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so, like, so you just kind of, and it will get better. It will get better, so it gets more focused and thing. But yeah, when you do too broad a request, it doesn't seem to work very well at all. So I agree.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Have you tried the local AIs, the ones that aren't online? You just download it to your
No,
computer. Oh, okay.
no. What's that? How does that work?
Well, you can get something like Olama, and you can download the what do they call them? The data sets or whatever it is, the
Yeah.
the training, and then you can just run it on your computer. And I played around with it a little bit. I haven't done any trading stuff with it, but it's kind of cool. And I don't know if it's going to work as well. I still have to test it, but it's a good idea because you're not giving information out to anybody else. It's just staying on your computer, right?
Yeah.
So that's something maybe people can look at also.
Yeah. Olama, you say?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
interesting. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I could see where you could get it really specialized. You could just feed it certain information, and then it could get quite good. Um, at like like a really specific task. Because the problem with the large language models like ChatGPT is it you can't vet the sources that it pulls from, and
Yeah,
there's those biases that come out. Whereas
yeah.
if you, like you're saying, like, if you built your own, you could say, okay, I want you to get really good at X, and I'm going to feed you only good stuff, and then you could
Hmm.
probably
Hmm.
make it. Yeah, I could see where that would be quite useful. I mean, I understand what you're saying. You're sort of hinting at, you don't let anyone else in on your secret formula,
Yeah, yeah,
which is
yeah,
also part of the deal. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. And there are a lot of guardrails on the online stuff too. So
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Walter.
Thank you.